Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Savvy session. Today, we're going to talk about essential feed improvement. But as always, just throw in a comment, make sure that I can tell that it's live and that everything is working. It's always my worst nightmare that the sound isn't working. So you just put in a quick comment, say, hey, this is actually working. Other than that, I'm going to get started with everything. So today, I'm presenting. I thought the agenda was here. No, my name is Andrew Lulk. I'm the founder of Savvy Revenue. And what we do is we run Google Ads for about 30 plus e-commerce advertisers in Europe and the US. And basically all we do is Google Ads for mid to large e-commerce stores. So we kind of act like this extra layer when it comes to being almost like a full in-house team. So we do things that are a little bit more complicated, a little bit more complex, a little bit more in-depth than most others. And I've been PPC since 2009, but on various top 25 PPC expert lists. But today we're going to talk about shopping feed optimization. I'm going to do a quick introduction of the shopping experience scorecard that's come to Europe, and we've had it in the US for a while. We're going to talk about why an optimized feed matters. We all know it matters, but I want to tell you how much it actually matters. And then we're going to jump into saying, okay, what is this like? What are these like pass fail attributes that actually matter? Then we're going to talk about updated learnings. What have we learned lately when it comes to title optimization, image links, product type, and more? Custom label deep dive, advanced feed optimization tips, and then a quick note of our feed, our preferred feed tools. So just a quick note on the scorecard. So this is what most merchant center scorecards looks like in Denmark at the moment. All red, nothing makes sense. What it is that is super simple to actually fix and set up, and it's not that complicated as an initial stage, and you'll fairly easily be able to get to like just a great quality score with just a few small changes or introductions into your merchant center. And I just wanted to highlight this because there's something people tend to get wrong. This is only applicable in the shopping tab. Search results, meaning that this is not an advertising or shopping ads related feature. Yes, it influences certain things, but not from a ranking perspective. So don't worry about it when it comes to your ads. This is not going to be an explanation to why something goes better or goes worse. It's something like every other thing I want to talk about from a feed perspective, something that you should do and implement and do what they ask you to, so to get as much data as possible. But it's not something that's super duper important. So the only thing you basically have to do right now is just update shipping cost, update return window / cost, and then you'll get good or exceptional ratings. And then from there might be some further data things that come in and further data points and inputs into the system. But right now, that's all you have to do if you're seeing the shopping experience introduction. So why does a feed matter? So my take on all this and what you should always think about is that there are certain things we all have. We have all basically access to the same products, unless you're DTC and you sell your own product, but we all have access to the same algorithm, same Google Ads, same everything. Where we want to differentiate as an e-commerce business is on the website with CRO, with the offers, with the creatives that we're running, with the campaign structure in Google Ads, and then it comes into feed optimization. Because an optimized feed will not make the huge difference if all your competitors are having a perfect feed, but it can definitely break it, and you're just behind on points. So what we're going to talk about today is how you actually create a feed in simple terms that turns into something where you are ahead of competitors who are not doing this and just keeping up with competitors who are also doing this. So what does an optimized feed actually look like? That's something that gets thrown out there and discussed a lot. But initially, it's just all what we call pass-fail attributes are added, meaning that all of these hygiene attributes are added to the feed. Yeah, all these attributes are added. It's like it's black or white. You can't really. You need to add the brand. You need to add the price, etc. And then there's all these other recommended we're going to go into in a second, but these are like pass fail. They have to be in there. All attributes are updated daily. This used to be a big thing. Today, it's not that big of a deal, but we still see it from time to time. All attributes are optimized to the best of their ability. If you have a Nike product and you add the brand Nike, then it's optimized to the best of its ability. Then we go into titles, images, and stuff like that, where it's a little bit more gray zone what it is you're actually going to hit. And then custom labels are added to give you better insights and better ability to segment campaigns. That's what an optimized feed looks like. So for the hygiene attributes, or these pass fail, if you can look at them at the right, again, we have stuff like ID, condition, GTN, brand, availability, price, all the blue required ones. You need to add them, no question. Like we don't even have to discuss it. Then when we get to the recommended side, again, I will still say you still have to add them. These are recommended by Google. They're recommended by me, but you have to do it. Additional image links are used to showcase different images on different platforms and in shopping ads. If your main image isn't the best one with the highest CTR, sale price is a better way to showcase that the price is now on sale. Shipping makes perfect sense. Custom labels is for insights, item group ID, group variants together, again, colors, sizes, etc. And product types gives a hierarchy for Google to know what is this product for you to analyze better. These are all mandatory, in my opinion, for you to add. And I'll talk more about why these are mandatory later. And again, then if we go into use if relevant, I will still say mandatory if relevant. Add them all. This adding the appropriate attributes to shopping feed that you have or that are applicable to your products is a pay to play, meaning that you just have to do it. There's no question whether or not it's the right thing or the wrong thing. How much do I get out of it? You have to add it. Most platforms today does this fairly easily. Back in the day, it was a lot harder to get gender or age group or some of these things. Most things we can pull out from the back end because it's there in a filter or in a value somewhere. And if not, we can create rules to fix it. So all of these are mandatory if it's relevant for your business. So again, if we look at apparel, color, size, size type, size system, material, gender, and age group, in my opinion, all mandatory. Then when we look at attributes to actually optimize, because there's only one size to put in, there's only one size system to put in, there's only one gender to put in, and then attributes to actually optimize, meaning that the title can be many different things. We can write different things when it comes to what the actual, let me change this a little bit, to what the actual title is. So, and then the same thing, product type, Google product category, images, and custom label. I'm not going to go into Google product categories that much because it's fairly simple, but it is kind of an area where you kind of have to choose the right thing. So titles, learnings have tremendously changed over the years. We used to do a lot of keyword stuffing, just like we see on the right. For anybody who don't speak English, speak Danish, watery, exercise, swimming goggles, Raven mirror, black, exercise, swimming goggles now comes in there again. It's not necessary to do that today. We can have a lot cleaner titles. And even this one is where it says washed denim blue, or denim actually says twice. We also have washed denim blue and denim and cotton down as attributes. And that's really where titles have become, in my opinion, started to morph, because if you also look at this case, it already says used, and this is a used product or a vintage product. It already shows us we don't need to spend time putting it in the titles. The only reason why we would need to put this in the title is if we're not being exposed for the search terms. But in most cases, we will if it's part of the data. So most of the time, it's not necessary to do a lot of keyword stuffing, but sometimes it is. And that's what we'll talk about now. So there's 3 stages of title optimization. And this is where a lot of confusion comes in around title optimization, because a lot of companies out there, a lot of e-commerce stores do perfectly fine without doing any title optimization. And some are horrendously hurt by not doing any title optimization. And the reason is there's 3 stages. If you have a new store or a new product, or you don't have GTNs, stuff keywords. Brand, category, model, style, anything that's a keyword, you need to stuff in your titles, and I'll explain more in a second. But GTNs store your historical values as well, and you can pull historical values in from competitors. You can't see it, but Google can see what a Nike shoe is shown for. So, and it will use that to say what search term should your product, because it's the same product, shown for. If you already have GTNs, and then again, you might still be new, you don't need to do as much keyword stuffing. Focus on keywords that you're not exposed to in the auction. So if we go back and take this example, if we're not being exposed to used, vintage, secondhand search terms, then we might want to add those to the title. But that's really where you should focus on in this case. And if you have GTNs and you have history on the account, you basically don't have to do any keyword stuffing. Google already knows this brand search is associated to this particular product, this category, and all these things. It will store that history. Like, you are already being shown for so many search terms that are not part of your title or your description. And it's because Google knows those search terms are associated to your product. At that time, it's better to focus on CTR and highly focused keywords, and again, go back to anything you're not exposed to in the auction. So when I talk about keyword stuffing done right, then what I'm talking about is add relevant keywords. It's really that simple. But people should obviously be searching for them. Don't add weird things that they don't that nobody's actually searching for. Do it dynamically if it's more than 100 products, and that's really where we go back to this thing about let's have as many data points in there as possible, because you can't add color, you can't add material, you can't add any of these things to your titles if it's not already in your feed. Then you have to do one by one, and then you might as well just fill out the material or the color or the age group in the beginning anyways. So that's what we're looking at. Again, go back to hygiene, make sure that you add all everything that's supposed to be in there. Don't repeat keywords, don't do excessive keyword stuffing, and don't do, again, stuff like size, material, color. Like everybody in this case, including me, use color here. And so few people are searching for color. So don't use any of those unless it's relevant. And what you should use is brand, gender, like I keep going back and forth in that color thing, but style, category, keyword. Again, if we take Old Navy on the right there, Old Navy is the brand, men's is the gender, crew neck is the style, t-shirt is the category, and 3-pack is a keyword. Awesome. It's a really, really good title. And then on the right, we have basically the same thing. We've just added the style as the Como herringbone suit pants. And again, you can see on the bottom of that one, because we've provided so much data, you can see it's dark navy, you can see the polyester spandex viscose. So the materials are already in there, and it's shown that there are 10 sizes available. What it's not mentioned here is because and that's because it's like, it's not always relevant, but sometimes it's super relevant. If I add the size to this suit pants, medium, nobody searches for medium, but there are people that search for triple XL. There are people who search for different types of sizes that are unique and that they are specifically looking for. It's like, most of you won't know this, but it's like if you're in the UK or if you're in Canada, you make searches, a lot of people will search with UK or CA or Canada because they don't want US results. They want Canadian or UK results. So I just got a question from Invoco. When we say category, do we mean Google product category or product type? I mean category on your website, which is usually the product type. Definitely do not put in the Google product category in your titles. Yeah. Other things is like material. Very few people search for the specific material, especially for apparel and for many other things. But in this case, like with jewelry, like sage, what is it called? Gold. Yeah, gold is material. So gold, for instance, like people will search for that. So again, you want to add that to it, but you don't want to just magically go in or randomly go in and take rule and add everything to the title because it doesn't look clean. If it's a kids or adult product, you want to put in kids. How many of us have clicked on the cheapest Nike shoe just to find out it's a kids version? Model number for hardware, and again, this is a 2024 model. Then add that to it. There's so many like on the keyword side, or some of these like gender, material, size, etc. That are important to actually add if it's relevant for your market in your category. One thing I've liked really lately is rotating keywords. So if you have a search term you're not showing up for but want to, like knowing this thing that Google knows what the CTR and associate search terms with a product means that you don't have to have the keyword in the title forever. If we remove the brand from the title and we're already showing for the brand, we're not going to get less exposure to it. Google already knows, and it's going to continue to show it for us until our CTR goes down. Then it might go. But some of these things are great for like what we talked about before, like the used or wholesale. Sometimes we'll use it for influencers' names if we're products used by influencers, the way we can be shown in the shopping ads. Categories, etc. When we didn't go to product types, it's used primarily for analysis. But how the heck can we analyze the mess on the left? It's all the final subcategories for products here, and it's what you typically get out of a Shopify, for instance. This is a Shopify store, and I just opened another Shopify store last week. Exactly the same thing, and it's the same thing we get every single time. So what we try to do here is, okay, let's create a main category. So we go from just having treadmill to having equipment. We go from having just multivitamins, so saying, okay, these are supplements. This way, we can create product types that allow us to better analyze performance across categories, across subcategories, and get to some kind of statistical significance. Because then that's the way we get to something like this, where we get better insights, where, for instance, you can now very easily see, okay, equipment is running at a 600% ROAS and supplements at 50% ROAS. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And this is an actual case. The numbers I kind of made up, but because it was back from my manual bidding days. But it was this was very hard to see that there is a very poor performance on all supplements. And once you start adding them up, they are actually spending 30,000. It's a substantial amount of money that we're actually losing on this category. What's even better is, again, adding some second categories. We used to not do this much until last year, and I'll explain why in a second. But again, I like to say 3 categories at best. Sometimes you can only do 2, or 2 product types, I call it categories. I say at least 2, 3 to 5 for larger stores are really, really good. And the reason why is because last year we kind of started seeing this slide float around from the Google Ads Academy, especially focused on retail. And this one was new. We all know most of these things in here. But product type, use rich keywords, and a logical hierarchy to inform the algorithm. And then if you look at the right, you can see that it has full bars in terms of backend impact. So that's related to the relevance to the serving, how many impressions, how many clicks. That's a little bit weird. We've never seen that before. Basically, it's saying the product type has the same importance as titles. I think that's a little bit much, but same amount of impact when it comes to keywords. So it's basically telling you need to stuff keywords without to do keyword stuffing. That's what they mean, rich keywords. You need to do keyword stuffing in the product type and in the titles, and the same impact. That's very, very interesting. So that's why we've kind of gone over to saying, okay, think keywords in wherever you can in product types again, because on the machines, that's not really a good keyword. Exercise machine, cardio machine. That's better. Cardio equipment. We already have equipment. So cardio would be better than machines. And the oils is good. Gut health is good for probiotics. Greens is a little bit broad. You can do better keyword like greens powder, greens powder, because we already have supplements. And then supplements, muscle building, amino acids is perfect. It's beautiful. Equipment, recovery, foam roll is beautiful. I doubt this is one of those things, again, that go back to making or breaking your feet. But in my opinion, this is like one of those like 2 to 5% impact actions. 5% is on the big side, or it's on the high side. But it's like 2 to 5% that stack up over time and stack up as you do it across your entire feed. And even if it's just 0.2% you get out of improving this and improving every single other attribute, there are like 30 attributes in your feed, it will stack up over time. And you never know what Google is going to start making a change and start using and do better, and start putting in the sizes, the material, the color, and stuff like that in the actual ads. So they'll start playing around with it a lot more, and they have already done it. So over optimize, do as much as you can, in my opinion, is crucial when you work with feeds. So image optimization. It's something that most people don't do any of, and it's something that's a little bit, again, it goes back to what kind of store are you. But if you look at the right within jewelry, Can you see what any of this is? This is a big screen. I took a big screenshot. Can you see what the thing on the left is? I can't tell what it is. Like I can see there's kind of something written, and then it says customized name pendant. Awesome, great. But what if you zoomed in on the actual name? What if you used models so you actually stick out and you see the chain or the jewelry on an actual person? What if you, again, like I showed there, zoomed in? How much easier is it to see the style, the font, the text, and actually get to the point where somebody will click on it and know, I like this font, I like this type of writing in, and this is why I click on it. That's going to get you a better click from the right user that will actually buy a product. It can have a pretty big impact on conversion rates to actually just showcase your product better, because you get better clicks because people are better informed. So this isn't really viable or relevant for if you have like thousands and thousands of products, but it is very important in some categories like jewelry. And it's something that you can actually algorithmically do a lot of these things these days. And one thing I always say, like, maybe we can't fix it going backwards, but can we fix it for top 10 products? Can we fix it for every single time we upload a new product so we stop doing the wrong thing? Like here, can we stop uploading these images? There are ways to do this. There's ways to get around it. So if your products images look like on the left, then try to find how can we, moving forward, stop having them looking like the left and more like the ones on the right. And just, well, have everybody here. I'm going to call out Voldemort. That's from Temu. They can do it. And again, I don't know if that's the actual only product image they have, but they can do it. I'm pretty sure we can do it too. So now I want to jump over to a custom label deep dive. So custom labels have basically two use cases. It's either to analyze performance segments across products, or it is to segment products into different campaigns. I have 7 favorite custom labels I've brought today. We'll go through the first 3 more in detail, like in-stock percentage across sizes, colors, etc. The performance buckets. If you've been on a session with me before, this is what we love to do, and especially having the data, not always campaign restructure, but at least just having the data. And then price levels, more focused on price comparison levels, is really nice. Private label versus reseller, on sale versus regular, in category bestsellers, and on sale percentage. I'll go through in a second. But in stock percentage, we all know this thing where we have a t-shirt and the only size that's left is XXL. Everything is sold out. Google doesn't know that. Google just looks at historical performance and say, this used to perform well when people clicked on it, and now performance isn't doing well. It's going to wait until it has a lot of data to start bidding lower. And that means that if you have a huge amount of products, this can be a massive loss leader in your business. But what we can do is try to find out, okay, at what level, if there's 1 size left, 2 size left, 3 sizes left, 4 sizes left, when does this actually have an impact? And that's what we're doing here. So first, we want to calculate how many sizes are in stock. In this example, and again, you can go back and look at this and then apply this in your own feed tool, but calculate how many sizes are in stock. In this case, we're using only the most popular sizes because it's like for an apparel store where we have extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, XXL. But 90% of the sales are small, medium, and large. So having extra small and extra large left and saying that's 2 out of 5, still great. It's not the same as having medium and large left. So we only counted the small, medium, and large when they were in stock. Then whenever there's 1 in stock, 2 in stock, 3 in stock, we apply a value to most in stock, 2 left in stock, 1 left in stock. Then what we do is we wait. Most people will jump straight into making a change and excluding when there's 1 left in stock or 2 left in stock or creating a different campaign structure. And it's a bad idea. And I need to stop playing with my watch while we do this. But that's a bad idea because sometimes you don't know what performance is at the different levels. We've seen plenty of times where there's still strong performance when it's not even the most that are in stock. So in this case, 2 left in stock. It's apparel for summer, or the data is for summer. And we can see, hey, these are actually also the most popular products that we have. So it makes sense that those are the ones that are going to go out of stock earlier, but conversion rates continue, ROAS continues to be high. So we would have made a huge mistake, and you would make a huge mistake if you don't wait at least a month with reviewing the data and review it over a season, over a year, because again, things change. And then what we simply just do in this case, we could see, okay, if there's one left in stock, ROAS is lower than the rest. We want to focus on what we have in stock. We don't want to spend money on advertising for product where we have one left in stock that gets us lower ROAS, because that we can get a better ROAS, and that one will sell organically through email or SEO or just direct traffic. So we don't have to advertise for it. So what we did is went in and we just removed anything that had not anything. We removed when there's only one left in stock, so we stopped advertising for it. And it basically goes in, if the availability calc is less or equal to 1, then we change availability to out of stock. It's really, really simple. So if you have lots of sizes and lots of different sizes, then this thing of small, medium, large makes no sense. You can't do it. What you can do though is just go in, give a value to every single product, give one in a different attribute to every single product in stock, and that will then calculate sums. You can repeat this slide if you want, and that will then show you, okay, we have 6 out of 11 left. We have 3 out of 5 products left within these sizes. And then you can kind of, if you want to go to the next level, you can create like a weighted availability score of how many products left out of total products, and if there's less products or less variants, whole thing. But yeah, this is the fastest way to do it. This just 2 rules, and most tools should be able to do this. This is done in Channable. So for performance buckets, I love to just be able to see this and also how it changes over time. So a lot of times, like, we'll open this up and smart bidding is actually doing the right thing. We're focusing spend on bestsellers. We're having decent ROAS from unprofitable or saboteurs, regular and new. Like, it's all looking good. All the data here is good. Saboteurs at 168% ROAS is perfectly fine. It's very close to our bestsellers. So all this is really looking good. But it's good to have the data as you're moving forward. So maybe in a year, maybe in 2 years, and we've seen this happen many times, your situation will change. You'll get, all of a sudden, you'll start getting a lot more new products, and spend is going to start pushing towards that. And if they don't perform, then it's going to pull down the data in the account. And that's the insight that we're looking for here, is not just to look at a Performance Max or Google Shopping black box where we can't see anything at all. It's about giving us the insight to say, hey, now we're spending more money on new products. They have a lower ROAS. Should we do something about that? So next one is price comparison. Here we're pulling in the data from Price Shape, a big recommendation to them if you need to compare pricing. And we can basically see, like, I don't have to go into detail how you do that, but because it's very, very simple. But again, if we just, this allows us to do some quick takeaways. We're spending way too much on high priced items in this one. ROAS isn't quite there, but it's okay because it's a high priced item. We have a better margin on them than the other items. So that's okay. But what we can do from here is that we can allocate more budget to competitively priced items. We can try to change around priorities and say, okay, let's put anything that has a -5 to -5, that is within a 5% range of the competitive price. Let's try to put it in a high priority. Let's try to put it in its own campaign. Let's try to push it separately. That's some of the things you can do when you get these custom label insights. So we've gone through the first 3. Some of the others I like is private label. I like to tag private label products because it allows you a really nice chart over the years about how much you're spending and what the ROAS and what the profit is on private label versus reseller products. And that's something that most people just ignore, because initially when you start private label, it's typically not that big. It's like one product or a small category, but then it grows. And if you don't keep track of this, you'll underspend on private label a ton, especially compared to what the profit actually is on those products. If something is on sale or it's not on sale, that's something we always include as a custom label, and it's so easy. What we then typically also include on top of that is what's the on sale percentage. So 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. It's good to know for, like, when should you because sometimes everybody will just have on sale versus regular price. And if something's on sale and it's 5% off, nobody cares. So all of a sudden you have a chunk of your product that don't convert better when they're on sale, and it's gonna skew the data. So being able to know the on sale percentage is something that I really, really like. And then in category bestsellers, if you've been on any of my other sessions, I've mentioned this before, so I'm not going to go into that much detail with it. But it's really about knowing, okay, if we have a category of 200 blenders, how much money are we spending on our top 5 versus everything else? Can we spend more money on our top 5? So going to a little bit more advanced tips. This isn't an advanced session. We'll do another advanced session, but I did want to include a couple of advanced tidbits for you guys. So unit-based measure or unit-based pricing measure is something that where you can show what the price is per serving. So in this case, if you look at right underneath the name, apropos, you can see that it's 50 cents per pill or per vitamin. You can also do it for per items in a bundle. You can do it for how much is this per 100 milliliters. So it's a way to show comparison pricing across different sizes, and it's something that is heavily underutilized. If you take True Classic on the left, this is a 6-pack. We could easily showcase here and calculate what one t-shirt costs. And again, it's $29.99 here. And they could easily show it by using the unit-based measure. Most apparel stores don't do it because they don't think about it. Most stores in general don't think about it that much because it's only for how much is this per milliliter and stuff like that. But every single time you have 2 products or more inside here, you can actually do it. And it's really, really simple to actually implement. In this case, we can just create a rule whenever the title says 6-pack, we divide the price by 6 and put that in as a unit-based price measure. That's it. It's that simple. So again, if you're looking at something like a store that have hundreds of thousands of products and you have like 100 or 200 different kinds of bundles, it's difficult. True Classic only sells clothes. Most skincare brands or stores only sell skincare. It's not like everybody's selling everything, and you are most likely only selling within a category. So these rules, maybe need 10 of them at tops to get really good at this. And it's really, really simple. And you never know when Google's going to start using that in their pricing and other things. So again, I say go in and put it in early. Then limiting product variants. It's always one of the hardest things for me to open up an account where you have apparel or jewelry, because the data is just scattered everywhere. So if we're looking at it here and we say, okay, how many clicks have this product gotten? Okay, it's gotten 104 clicks. Wait, there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one at the end. And if one has a super high ROAS and another has 0, that's going to average out. So all this is super hard to analyze. And it also means that it can be pretty tough for smart bidding, especially to gain traction. So one of the things that we like to do is limiting variants. So where we go in and we say, okay, let's only show one variant or one variant of a product or one size. Sometimes also with one color. So everything just gets really, really narrow. And it's really great for something like rings, where there are, I don't even know how many sizes there are, but it's like 20, like every little tiny thing. And it's the same product. There's no need for it to be promoted as a different size. And it's a huge mistake. We've done it multiple times for jewelry brands, and it makes analysis so much easier, and Google can run it so much better. Bras is another thing. Every single time there's a bra, you get like 40 or 50 sizes, and add a couple of colors to that, you have 200 variants per product. Huge issue. Most apparel have the same issue. Just be careful. Limiting variants can sometimes lower your exposure. So it's not something I would say if you're a large apparel brand today or apparel store and you're going out and you start just magically do this. Careful, do it with a couple of products, see what happens. Or take half, move into a different thing. Just be careful when you do it. This is not something you should always do. If everything is working well, you have plenty of data, then it's not that big of a deal. If you're trying to get off the ground, this can be something that can really, really help initially. Then if we go to GTINs, like what are they actually good for? And again, if we look at that slide that Google shared, again, it's about Google being able to pull in product performance data or Google Ads performance data across every single store that sells the same product. And if you ever wondered why, like you said, Nike, Shop WSS, and Foot Locker can have the exact same amount of product reviews, it's because they're all pulling in from the same main database. So to match, they match the same product. You learn from competitors' ad spend, and this applies to direct to consumer too. So if you are only selling your own brand, there is a thing where the historical values are saved on GTINs, and there is a quality component in here with historical values. So I always advise you to go in and do this. Even if you're D2C, add GTINs. It's definitely a must-have. So the tools to help doing all these things, I love Channable, and I get a lot of questions, and we can see a couple of questions in the comments, like how do we do some of these things? Channable can do all of it. They have a horrible affiliate program, horrible, and I've told them many times. But like I think if we sign you up personally and are the managing agency, we get 3% of what you're paying. If I just tell you here or you click a link, I get nothing. So in that case, I hate Channable, but their feed optimization tool for the common person is the best out there by far. It's easy to see what happens after you create a rule. It's easy to create multiple rules. It's absolutely amazing. So if you are a kind of an intermediate heavy user of feed optimization, or you need that, then Channable is the way to go. If you are more of a beginner, Data Feed Watch provides better support, better help. It's slightly simpler to set up, but they have much better help than Channable does, and their support is amazing. So if you need more help, need more support, Data Feed Watch is the way to go. So towards the end here, I wanted to give a shout out. You're all going to get access to this. It's a it's a Notion database of all the attributes that you can put in. And the way to work with this is, and I've just filled this out as an example, is go in, okay, do we have GTIN? Yes, no. Do we have brand? Do we have availability? Do we have all these things? And then we can see, okay, title, okay, has a high importance. It needs to be optimized. What's the priority? It's high. What's the effort? Easy. Here's the guide on how to optimize it, etc., etc., etc. This goes, and we have it for all the required, all the recommended, all the use if relevant attributes. So highly recommend go in. There's a walkthrough how this works. There's a guide to the feed optimization and everything. And there's even guides to the recommended feed optimization tool. So grab this when I'm done, go through and assign a value to each feed, like to each attribute. Like, what is the status right now? Does it exist? Is it optimized? Who should do this? Because it can be really overwhelming to open a feed and figure out where am I supposed to start. This simplifies it tremendously. But 4 main takeaways from today. So 1, add all hygiene attributes. It's a must-have. It's a pay-to-play. You have to do it. Then optimize the 4 core attributes we talked about: title, product type, image, and custom labels. Then you get insights using those custom labels, and then you go more advanced if necessary. There are more advanced things. There are short titles. There are lifestyle image links. There are product highlights. There are more things, and especially now it's coming out with PMax with feed values that they are using more for different kind of ad formats and stuff like that. That's a lot more advanced. Again, I will guess that 80% of your spend goes to Google Shopping today anyways. You're not getting that much out of the last one. So in the beginning, hygiene attributes, optimize the core values, get more insights with custom labels, and then you can go more advanced. But first 3, 99% of the way. And is there more? Not to this slide, but there's more stuff to do from a feed. There's always more stuff to do. But if you do these, you'll be really good. So we are going to create a more advanced feed optimization session. So be on the lookout for that. And outside there, we're going to, in a second, go over to questions. But I just want to give a shout out. If you need help with Google Ads, if you're an e-commerce store, if your situation is a little bit more complex, then Savvy Revenue is definitely the agency for you. What we do is that we limit the amount of advertisers that our people work with to 1 to 3. That's not true. 2 to 4 advertisers per specialist, which means they can dedicate 1 to 2 days per week to your account. So they are more akin to an in-house team. So they are able to work proactively on the accounts. They can provide sparring on strategy and simply get a bigger foothold in your business. So if you need any help with Google Ads now in the future, we are currently signing up accounts for this fall. So if you need any help at all, email me at andrew@savvyrevenue.com for a chat. And then we're going to move it over to questions. And I'm going to play with this. I'm going to do like this. There we go. So we had a question from Class Beria. Would you use search terms as the main indicator to which keywords to aim for product without DTIN? So yes and no. I would. Let me move this over here so it doesn't look like I'm looking at something weird. So yes, I would use it as 2 indicators. So I would use it as an indicator for what keywords do I currently have in the title, and what keywords do I want in there. So again, let's say that you are like we've just had this case, just came out like in the last month. Sells a lot of wholesale apparel. Their search ads account for where the wholesale or bulk were in the search terms accounted for around 30% of the spend and the clicks. In shopping, it was less than 5%. They didn't have wholesale written anywhere. They didn't have bulk written anywhere. So we added that to the titles and boom, and did a keyword split, and boom, we got that up to 20%. So I would like to look at what do we have and what do we not have that's showing up in the search terms to decide what should we do from a keyword perspective. Ben Lee asks, do you exclude all irrelevant keywords? Is it normal excluding thousands of keywords? I use mostly exact match keywords. No. It was 5 years ago. It was something that was important. Today, smart bidding is already bidding at the search term level, so the impact of negative keywords is a lot less. And we've actually seen in more cases that the performance can actually drop the more negative keywords you add in there because you're likely to make a mistake. So I would say don't exclude all irrelevant keywords, especially for shopping. It can be something that's difficult. Just an example, you can exclude a product or a category that you're not selling today, but Google chose to show you for because it was kind of relevant. And then you'll get that category in a year or in 2 years, and you forgot you excluded it. That's why in some cases, smart shopping and PMAX actually improved performance for a lot of advertisers because they removed the ability to make mistakes like those. Can you recommend a good feed tool? Our agency probably is on a smaller to mid-size with e-commerce clients. Channable. I like Channable. If you guys have trouble doing feed optimization, I'll do Data Feed Watch so you can get more support. But otherwise, I really, really like I really like Data Feed Watch. Channable, especially for agencies. How do you limit variance? We actually got 2 questions on that. So let me just let me pull up one where we've actually done it, and I'll show you the exact rule that we used. And while I do that, I'll pull up the other question. So can we agree that we all still think that standard shopping can beat PMAX 9 out of 10 times? No. I still think it can beat it. We beat it. We run 70% of our spend to standard shopping, and we move advertisers from PMAX to standard shopping all the time. But out of the box beating it, I think they're very, very similar, and this is where the entire discussion goes. I don't think that standard shopping out of the box beats PMAX out of the box. I think that we can defend ourselves better with standard shopping to avoid wasted ad spend in display or YouTube. I think we can create priorities. I think we can create priorities to showcase bestsellers or on-sale products before we show anything else. I think we can create performance buckets with standard shopping. I think there's so many more options we can do. I think we can analyze search terms better. I think we do so many more things in standard shopping that allows us to get an upside or get an advantage as compared to Performance Max. and that way we can quote unquote beat it. But out of the box, I don't think there's a big difference. I really don't, and I don't see it anywhere. So which one do we have to rule in? Limit variance. Okay, let me just pull up one where I'll just create a new rule. Okay, so let me just pull this up here. We'll just create a new rule. So in this case, deduplicate items and keep lowest based on price. So with this rule, we would go in and we would take every single, you can see here we go, we start from having 12,000 variants, having 3,000 variants. And that's where a good feed tool is worth its weight in gold, because we can just very quickly be able to do any of these things. And then again, knowing how it works also helps a lot. Do you split bestsellers and regular into campaigns if they're searched by the same terms? Yes, that's one of the big use cases for using a campaign split. And again, this is where I like standard shopping more than PMax, because I can go back and I can say, okay, if we have the same product that can appear for the same search term, I want it to show my bestseller, because I don't want it to show the other product. There's no need for it. Like if this converts at 5%, this converts at 4, 3, or 2%. I want to show the bestseller first. I want to get clicks there, because it across all of our products, it's going to perform much better. Favorite books on your bookshelf? Pizza. No, I'm kidding. Pizza Bible. I don't. So this is not my favorite, but it's very, very close. My favorite is Essentialism, but I gave it away. This one is Stolen Focus: Why You Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again. Explains why we should all ditch our phones and stop living the way we're doing. I love it. I think it's really, really good. But yeah, on that note, I'll say thank you to everybody for joining today, and I hope you appreciate it. If any questions, then make sure to ask away here on the video. If you have, if you want more on the more advanced stuff when it comes to feed optimization, just sign up for our newsletter. Make sure you get the emails when we announce new sessions. We'll have it out in a month or two. And thank you for attending today.